Raiders sign DT Leki Fotu. The Las Vegas Raiders have made a significant move, signing defensive tackle Leki Fotu. This is a player who could potentially become a key part of their defensive line rotation. According to Tom Pelissero, veteran defensive tackle Leki Fotu has officially joined the Raiders. Fotu brings size, strength, and some intriguing potential to the roster. Standing at 6 feet 5 inches and weighing 340 pounds, he's a true nose tackle, a position the Raiders have needed to address. Over his NFL career, Fotu has appeared in nearly 60 games and recorded 3.5 sacks. While he's not known for his pass rushing ability, his size and skill set make him an excellent fit for stopping the run and anchoring the defensive line. Historically, the Raiders have had solid run stuffers like Jonathan Hankins in the past. With Fotu joining the team, he's expected to fill that role effectively. Watching his tape, you'll notice he has a surprising swim move for a player of his size, which allows him to create disruption. However, as with most nose tackles, Fotu's role isn't about piling up sacks. His primary job will be to control the line of scrimmage, eat up blocks, and create opportunities for others to make plays. The Raiders have been busy retooling their defensive line this offseason. Along with Fotu, they've made moves like re-signing Zach Carter and continuing to develop younger players like Matthew Butler. Butler, now entering his final year on a rookie contract, still has untapped potential and could make a leap this season. The team also claimed Jonah Lau last year, a former third-round pick by the Colts who has shown flashes of promise. Fotu, originally drafted in the 4th round by the Arizona Cardinals, brings experience and toughness to the Raiders. In 58 games with the Cardinals, he was primarily used as a nose tackle and one technique. Although he won't light up the stat sheet with sacks, Fotu's ability to disrupt plays and move offensive linemen off their spots is what makes him valuable. Ultimately, this signing isn't about flashy numbers. It's about adding a reliable physical presence to the defensive front. Leki Fotu could become a key piece for the Raiders on early downs and in base defense. With his combination of size, strength, and flashes of technique, he gives the team exactly what they've been missing: a dependable run stopper who can hold his ground in the trenches. Raiders add depth with DT Leki Fotu and TE Ian Thomas. Leki Fotu isn't being brought in to be the Raiders' full-time starting defensive tackle. He's here to fill a specific role. As we discussed earlier, the Raiders have been in need of a true nose tackle, and Fotu checks that box perfectly. This is a low-risk, high-upside signing, and honestly, it's the kind of move that makes a lot of sense for this team. I really like how General Manager Dave Ziegler has approached this offseason. The Raiders already have their cornerstone players in place. Offensively, you've got Colton Miller locked in long-term, Jackson Powers-Johnson as a rising star, and Brock Bowers as a dynamic weapon. Add in a quarterback like Geno Smith, who can elevate the group, and the foundation is solid. Sure, there might be minor tweaks, like potentially upgrading Trey Tucker or Jacoby Myers, but this offense isn't built around chasing high-priced free agents like T. Higgins. The focus is on complementing the core, not rebuilding it. Defensively, the same principle applies. Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins are locked into long-term deals, Malcolm Kuntz provides solid depth, and the rest of the roster is rounded out with role players. Role players are essential to success in the NFL, and that's exactly where Fotu fits. He's a run-stopping specialist who can eat up snaps on early downs, allowing the stars to shine in critical moments. But that's not the only move the Raiders made. They also signed veteran tight end Ian Thomas, who spent the last 7 seasons with the Carolina Panthers. Back in 2018, during his rookie year, Thomas looked like a potential star, someone with the size, athleticism, and playmaking ability to become a dominant force. While his career hasn't quite lived up to that early promise, this signing adds depth and flexibility to the Raiders' tight end room. Right now, the Raiders have Brock Bowers as their primary tight end and Michael Mayer as the clear TE2. Both are expected to contribute heavily in 12 personnel packages, with Bowers even flexing out into the slot in certain formations. It's a creative approach that leverages their strengths. Ian Thomas, on the other hand, is more of a complementary piece. He's not going to take over as a full-time starter or play 1,000 snaps, but he's perfect for a role where he sees 300 to 400 snaps in specific situations. Thomas is primarily a pass-catching tight end, which sets him apart from someone like rookie Justin Shorter, who joined the team last year. Shorter is still developing, but Thomas brings 7 years of experience and a level of reliability the Raiders can count on if injuries strike. While Thomas isn't an elite tight end, he's a savvy pickup for this team. He adds versatility, depth, and the ability to step in when needed. It's a thoughtful addition that strengthens the roster and gives the Raiders more options in how they attack defenses. Ultimately, both of these signings, Leki Fotu and Ian Thomas, reflect the Raiders' commitment to building a deep, balanced team. They might not be splashy moves, but they're the kind of under-the-radar additions that can make a real difference when the season gets underway. Raiders' tight end situation: Michael Mayer, Ian Thomas, and what's next? We've been hearing the rumors about Michael Mayer being shopped by the Raiders. And while it's not unusual for teams to explore trade options during free agency or even leading up to the draft, it does raise some questions. This upcoming tight end class is solid, with prospects like Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren projected to go in the first round. Outside of those two, though, Michael Mayer is arguably the next best option. Now, if a team values Mayer, who was drafted high in the second round, they might offer something like a fourth-round pick for him. That would give the Raiders a chance to grab a solid player, like the way the Buccaneers landed Bucky Irving in the fourth round. But honestly, I think trading Mayer would be a mistake. Sure, Ian Thomas is a nice pickup, and he could fill in if Mayer were to be moved, but let's not forget why Michael Mayer was drafted in the first place. He was supposed to be that next-level tight end, the kind of player you'd compare to George Kittle or Travis Kelce. If the Raiders move on from him now, they risk missing out on his full potential. Personally, I'd keep Mayer for the next 2 years and see what he can do. He's already shown he's a great run blocker, strong, tall, and reliable. And if he does develop into a top-tier pass-catching tight end, the Raiders can always pay him when the time comes. Brock Bowers is clearly the long-term TE1, but having Mayer as a dual-threat tight end who can block and catch adds so much to the offense. That said, I do appreciate the Ian Thomas signing. He's a veteran with 7 years of experience, and he adds solid depth to the tight end room. Whether he's there as insurance or to play a complementary role, it's a smart, low-risk move by the Raiders. Raiders linebacker update: the Christian Ellis offer. Switching gears, let's talk about a quick but interesting update regarding linebacker Christian Ellis. According to Jeremy Fowler, Ellis's new deal with the Patriots is worth $13.5 million over 2 years. But here's the kicker. This was the offer sheet the Raiders initially submitted. That means New England decided to match it. The earlier rumor was that the Raiders offered $4.5 million, but that clearly wasn't the case. This deal averages out to about $6.75 million per year, which is a hefty price for a linebacker. To put it in perspective, Robert Spillane only got $11 million over 2 years. So the Raiders were essentially willing to pay an extra $4 million for Ellis, a player who has never played under Patrick Graham. It's fascinating to see how much the Raiders valued Ellis. Offering nearly $7 million per year suggests they saw something special in him. Maybe it was his tape, his athletic upside, or how they envisioned him fitting into their defensive scheme. Whatever it was, the Raiders clearly wanted him, but the Patriots matched, and now he's staying in New England. This decision raises some questions, though. Did the Raiders not want Spillane back? Or did they see Ellis as a better fit for their future plans? Either way, it shows they're committed to reshaping the linebacker core, even if it means taking some big swings in free agency. Raiders linebacker evaluation: Ellis versus Spillane. Let's dive into the Christian Ellis situation one last time because it's such an intriguing decision by the Raiders. They were willing to offer Ellis nearly $7 million per year, which says a lot about how they view his potential. Watching his tape, you can tell he has the movement, the processing, and the upside to make an impact on the field. What surprises me is that the difference between Ellis and Robert Spillane was only $4 million, and yet the Raiders didn't retain Spillane. That's a decision worth questioning. Maybe they believe Ellis has more untapped potential than Spillane, and that's why they were ready to go all in. Of course, the Patriots weren't willing to let Ellis walk either. They matched the offer sheet immediately, which speaks volumes about how they value him. At the end of the day, it's fascinating to see the Raiders aiming high and betting on upside, but it does make me wonder about their priorities when it comes to linebacker spending. Wide receiver prospect spotlight: Kyle Williams. Now let's shift gears and talk about a wide receiver prospect who deserves a lot more attention: Kyle Williams out of Washington State. Let me just say it up front. Kyle Williams is special. To me, he's wide receiver 2 in this draft class, if not wide receiver 1, and I know that's not a popular take right now. Most people probably don't even know who Kyle Williams is, and I get it. The media hasn't hyped him up yet. But if you're someone who watches tape closely, and I mean really watches, you'd see it right away. This guy is an incredible separator, a polished route runner, and at the top of his route, he's just different. The way he sells his routes and creates separation is almost Ja'Marr Chase or Malik Neighbors level. Now, would I take Kyle Williams over Travis Hunter? Probably not. Travis Hunter's upside and potential are on another level. But if you're talking about who's the most polished wide receiver right now, it's Kyle Williams. I see it as a 1A and 1B situation, with Hunter as 1A simply because of his ceiling. Here's the thing. If the Raiders are looking at a wide receiver with the 6th overall pick, and Hunter is off the board, Kyle Williams would absolutely be worth it. I know the Raiders don't need a wide receiver unless it's a true X, but imagine this. If you had the chance to add someone like Ja'Marr Chase or Malik Neighbors to this offense alongside Brock Bowers, wouldn't you do it? I would, 100%. This guy is elite. He has everything you want in a wide receiver: speed, technique, separation, and the ability to win at every level of the field. I know not everyone will agree because he hasn't been in the media spotlight, but trust me when I say Kyle Williams is the real deal. Kyle Williams, a top 10 talent with game-changing potential. Let me just say this right away. I think Kyle Williams is a top 10 pick in this year's draft. If the Raiders feel that this guy is a true difference maker, and his tape definitely supports that, I would absolutely take him with the 6th overall pick. He could bring something dynamic and electrifying to the Raiders' offense. But let's back up for a moment. Tetro McMillan has been hyped up throughout this draft process. Early on, scouting agencies like Bleo were all in on him, giving him a high grade. And sometimes, you see this trend where people just repeat what they hear without really diving into the film themselves. After watching his tape, I have to say, I don't see McMillan as a first-round pick. Sure, McMillan has the ability to out-jump defenders and win contested catches, but that's about it. He's not an elite route runner, and he doesn't create separation the way you'd expect from a top-tier wide receiver. Frankly, I'd rank other guys ahead of him. For me, Travis Hunter and Kyle Williams are 1A and 1B. After them, I'd place Matthew Golden at 3, with Luther Burden close behind. And don't sleep on Jalen Noel. He's another guy with tons of upside who might even be better than McMillan. To be honest, if the Raiders were to take McMillan at 6, I'd call it a reach. He's just not the explosive playmaker you want at that spot. Let's be real. When you draft a wide receiver in the top 10, you want someone who can change the game. Someone like Ja'Marr Chase or Malik Neighbors. Has Drake London, another top 10 pick, lived up to that kind of standard? Not really. And McMillan doesn't project to be that guy either. Now Kyle Williams? That's a different story. He has the kind of explosive potential you look for. Watching his tape, you can see he has the ability to make jaw-dropping plays, the kind that leave defenders shaking their heads. It reminds me of moments we've seen with Brock Bowers. I mean, do you remember when Gardner Minshew threw a deep ball and Bowers just mossed a defender, snatching it out of the air and taking it to the house? That's the level of athleticism and playmaking I see in Kyle Williams. And it's not just a one-off comparison. Williams has that same ability to dominate, whether it's breaking tackles, high-pointing the ball in traffic, or creating separation downfield. He's the kind of guy who can turn a single play into a highlight reel moment, just like Ashton Jeanty does with his explosive runs. If the Raiders want to build an offense that's truly dynamic, Kyle Williams is the kind of player you bet on. But hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.